So y'all remember when it was said that we taking all the black jobs? They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this guy made a video, and I saved it to my favorite, so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live, and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter, and he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for shitty britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields.
The people vote for Donald Trump? Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get black Americans in the fields.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you've ever wondered what some milk-colored MAGA supporters really mean when they rant against wokeness or oppose DEI, that's diversity, equity, and inclusion, then you're about to get a raw, unfiltered look into the darker corners of their mindset. A man recently took to X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, to share a disturbing first-hand account. What he witnessed on a MAGA discussion forum wasn't just political chatter, it was racism. Loud, proud, and unmasked. According to his post, milk-colored MAGA users were openly expressing that their real reason for voting down DEI was because they wanted to bring black people back to their farms and plantations just like their fathers did. Let that sink in. This revolting throwback to slavery has sparked outrage and grief, particularly among black communities who have spent generations trying to heal from the legacy of forced labor, systemic oppression, and generational trauma. We want to take a moment to acknowledge and uplift the creators, activists, and digital truth tellers who expose these hateful online spaces and push these conversations into the public square. Your work is vital. And it matters. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Join the conversation. Be part of the resistance against hate, because staying silent is not an option.
So I just saw this video of this white man who's not MAGA, by the way, or at least he says he's not, but because he damn sure selling the look. But he says he has a fake account over on Twitter. And he joined this group of white farmers, and he's pretending to be MAGA just to see what they're talking about. So apparently they had this group chat or group call where the white MAGA farmers were upset and saying the only reason why they voted for shitty britches was because they thought the blacks didn't have jobs and the blacks would come back and work their fields. They thought they were going to get slavery back by voting for shitty britches. But they have been saying loud and proud with their chest that immigrants were taking their jobs. Yet, there are a couple of farms here in Texas that overnight lost 100% of their workforce. But immigrants was taking their jobs, right? Racism is expensive, huh?
Let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought black folks did not have jobs. So when we put this all together, Somehow, the white farmers were convinced that black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with their whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers, if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is the message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen.
So y'all remember when it was said that we taking all the black jobs? They really thought that we was going to be looking for black jobs, y'all. And I woke up this morning, I was scrolling through TikTok, and I saw this guy made a video, and I saved it to my favorites so you can go look for it. And he said he was pretending to be MAGA on one of those other apps. He said they were doing a live, and the farmers were saying that they thought that the black people would be looking for jobs to work on their farms. Now, you got to be kidding me. Do they think we really looking for farm work? Do they not know that we are educated and we got degrees? And being a farm worker ain't even in the jobs categories that we be looking for. They really don't know how educated some of us are. They don't know how many degrees a lot of us have. They got to be really lost if they think that we want to come and work on their farms. They don't know that our parents and our grandparents growing up wouldn't even let us be outside if it wasn't no shade outside. Do they really think that we gonna work on a farm where ain't no shade trees at? I hate to disappoint y'all, baby, but you're gonna have to get somebody else to do it, because we ain't working on nobody's farm. Never. The only way you gonna see black people working on a farm is if they own the farm, because we not working on nobody's farm as no workers. So I hate to disappoint y'all. If y'all thought those was black jobs that black people looking for, honey, you better think again, because black folks that I know got good jobs. We've had a black president, we had a black vice president, we got black senators, we got black congressmen, we got black CEOs, we got black doctors, we got black nurses, we got black psychiatrists, we got a lot of good black jobs. Now, I don't know what y'all thought we was gonna be farm workers for. We don't even want to work in the fast food industry. Those jobs, we don't want those kind of jobs. So, I hate to disappoint you MAGA people, but we don't do farm work. So get somebody else to do it. I'll like, share, comment, and repost. Drop in the comments y'all education and y'all good black jobs, because they don't think we got good black jobs out here. So we need to let them see it.
According to the man's testimony on X, while browsing through a milk-colored MAGA platform, he came across a thread where users weren't even trying to hide their intentions. In their own words, they said the reason they voted against DEI policies wasn't about protecting meritocracy or opposing so-called reverse racism. No, they were hoping it would be the first step toward bringing Black people back to their farms and plantations to labor for them like their ancestors once did. This wasn't satire. This wasn't sarcasm. This was an honest, hateful declaration of white supremacist nostalgia from people who genuinely long for a time when Black bodies were their property. And this wasn't a one-off comment. It was a shared belief, a fantasy about turning back the clock and recreating a racist power structure that America has never fully dismantled. This is what DEI is up against, and why its destruction has become a rallying cry for MAGA extremists. The backlash was instant and searing. Black users poured into the comment sections and quote tweets with heartbreak, fury, and exhaustion. One user wrote, "This ain't about policy, it's about domination. These people want us in chains, and they're not even ashamed to say it anymore." Others pointed out how this behavior lines up with Trump's broader anti-DEI agenda, which has inspired everything from book bans to diversity rollbacks across universities, workplaces, and even government agencies. Even some milk-colored allies responded with horror and disgust. One replied, "If you're still defending this movement, ask yourself what side of history you're standing on. This isn't patriotism, this is plantation cosplay." What's chilling is how normalized these conversations have become in far-right spaces. For every one person speaking out, there are hundreds more lurking, nodding in agreement, or sharing links to echo chambers where this ideology festers. Creators, watchdog accounts, and grassroots journalists, we salute you. Thank you for documenting, screen grabbing, and publishing these exchanges so they can't be buried or denied. This work is dangerous and necessary.
So I'm a black farmer, and a lot of people are wondering, why are black farmers not panicking like a lot of white farmers? Well, let me explain to you the reasons why. It's because white farmers have been handed everything to them, a lot of them. Not saying all of them, but a good bit of them. And by that I mean this. MLK even pointed out, he says, farmers in the West and the Midwest who were white, they were given land, they were given money, they were given training, they were given a lot. Whereas the black farmers weren't given anything, and the largest civil rights settlement in U.S. history is Pickford v. Glickman, where you had a class action lawsuit, bunch of black farmers all joined the lawsuit, and they won a huge settlement because the USDA was shown to be racist for decades. So because black farmers haven't been given anything, we've been learning to do without, unlike your white farmers. So when things are taken away from you, all your subsidies, all your tax breaks, guess what? You panic. Whereas we've always been going through this shit. So there's problems in privilege.
Them farmers really thought we was going back to them fields. They really thought we was going back to them fields. You know what? My mother was the first generation on her mother's side not to be brought up on a plantation. Not to be brought up on a plantation. That's what I said. My grandfather had a third grade education, but he left my mama 2 houses, property in the bank, property and money in the bank, with a third grade education. And guess what? He worked in fields. My great grandmother worked in fields and cut that cane just like a man. You hear me? And if you think that Eddie Lewis and Victoria C. Jones and all the rest of my ancestors bust their tail in them fields for us to go back to the fields, absolutely not. That's not progress. We're trying to heal from ancestral trauma. We're trying to heal from that. That ain't happening. That produce could rot in them fields before we go back to them fields. They need to let them know that.
That man said he went up on the Twitters and he saw the white farmers, saying that, oh, well, we thought the black folk were going to come back and do the job. He said that they said the blacks. But he said they were convinced that when they started deporting these non-black people of color, right, that we were going to be taking their places back in the fields. essentially they thought they were getting their slaves back, right? They thought slavery was going to come back full force. We were going to be like, oh, okay, let's get on back to them fields, because they don't think black people have jobs. But it makes sense, because remember when Trump said they're taking your black jobs? Y'all remember that? Yeah, what do y'all think he meant by that? He meant the people that are in the fields now, right? Which are the Hispanic community, the Latinos. He meant that they were taking our black jobs. See, because he thinks that black people's job is to be up in the field. Yeah, that's right. Right, that's exactly what he thinks. So it all makes sense now. They really thought, these farm owners really thought that black folk, they were going to deport the Hispanics, the Latino community, and that black people were going to go back to the field working for nothing. And they tell us to stop living in the past. Bruh.
What happened in that MAGA chat space isn't just a one-off racist rant. It's a peek behind the curtain, an unfiltered look at what many DEI critics actually want. Not fairness, not equality, not colorblind policies. They want a return to domination, to exploitation, to the days when black labor built white wealth and justice had no seat at the table. This is why DEI matters. This is why we fight. And this is why we can't let racists rewrite the rules of society while pretending it's about fairness. To every black person feeling disrespected and dehumanized by these revelations, you are not alone. To every ally ready to speak out, do it loudly. And to every creator who made sure this story didn't disappear in the digital dust, we see you, we appreciate you, and we acknowledge you. You are keeping the truth alive. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Have you seen similar conversations online? Do you think we're approaching a breaking point in this country's racial reckoning? Let's talk about it. Make sure you're subscribed. Keep sharing these videos. And if you have a platform, use it. The days of neutrality are over. Until next time, stay woke, stay loud, and stay unbought.